In a world full of reboots, revivals, and nostalgia-laden content, one legendary sitcom is gearing up for a return, bringing with it something that young Sheldon never quite captured: the magic of chaotic, heartfelt, laugh-out-loud family dysfunction. We're talking, of course, about Malcolm in the Middle. Yes, that Malcolm in the Middle, the irreverent, fourth-wall-breaking, middle-child-focused whirlwind of a show that debuted in 2000 and promptly blew a hole in the traditional family sitcom mold. With rumors swirling and key cast members teasing a reunion or reboot, one thing is crystal clear. If any sitcom deserves a second act, it's Malcolm's. Because Malcolm in the Middle did one thing young Sheldon never could: it made genius feel human, flawed, and genuinely funny. The genius problem in sitcoms, both Malcolm in the Middle and young Sheldon, revolve around brilliant children navigating normal life. But while young Sheldon often feels like a carefully arranged diorama, perfectly polished, occasionally poignant, but mostly sanitized, Malcolm was a firecracker. It was unpredictable, loud, messy, and proud of it. Young Sheldon tries to explore the inner world of a gifted child growing up in a family and community that doesn't always understand him. But it often leans into sentimentality and exposition, smoothing out the rough edges. It's clever, but safe, and safe, when it comes to portraying genius, often means boring. On the other hand, Malcolm in the Middle threw Malcolm, played by Frankie Muniz, a certified child prodigy, into the center of a home that was gloriously dysfunctional. It didn't treat his intelligence like a glowing halo or a burden. It treated it like another chaotic variable in a family full of them. Malcolm wasn't a saint or a sad sack loner. He was smart, sure, but he was also arrogant, anxious, petty, and deeply flawed. And that made him, and the show, so much more compelling. It was never just about Malcolm. The secret sauce of Malcolm in the Middle was that it wasn't really about Malcolm. Not just about him, anyway. The entire ensemble was the show's backbone. From the tyrannical genius of Lois, Jane Kaczmarek, to the well-meaning, often clueless Hal, Bryan Cranston, long before Breaking Bad, to the disaster-prone brothers Reese, Dewey, and Francis, every character had a voice, a purpose, and a story. They weren't supporting roles. They were parallel planets, each with their own gravity, and together, they formed a solar system of dysfunction that viewers couldn't help but orbit. Compare that to young Sheldon, where the supporting cast often feels like props orbiting Sheldon's emotional or intellectual development. Mary is the devout but weary mother. George is the well-meaning, often doomed father. Mima gets some punchlines, and Georgie and Missy hover around for sibling spice. But the show always steers itself back to Sheldon's journey, making it feel more like a solo act than an ensemble piece. In Malcolm, even Dewey had a rich inner world. Even Francis, banished to Alaska or military school, was still part of the emotional DNA of the show. Tone matters, and Malcolm nailed it. Tone is one of the hardest things for a sitcom to master. Too goofy, and it feels like fluff. Too serious, and it becomes drama with laugh tracks. Malcolm in the Middle struck the perfect balance. It was anarchic but tender. Absurd but grounded. The humor was slapstick one minute, razor sharp the next. One episode could have Malcolm building a robot for a science fair and the next diving into existential angst about whether intelligence makes him a bad person. Young Sheldon, while occasionally funny, often gets bogged down in its own sentimentality. It tries to tie too many bows. Emotional moments feel crafted, not lived. The jokes are there, but they're neatly lined up like dominoes, whereas Malcolm felt like someone kicked the table and filmed whatever happened next. That unpredictability was thrilling. You never knew if Malcolm would solve a Rubik's Cube with his feet or accidentally destroy a neighborhood with a science experiment. You never knew if Lois would erupt or reveal a painful truth. That tension, that chaos, that was the beating heart of the show. Why it's the right time to return. So why now? Why bring back Malcolm in the Middle in 2025? Because we miss shows that feel alive. We miss sitcoms that are brave enough to let their characters be ugly, selfish, brilliant, ridiculous, and still lovable. We miss family shows that don't sugarcoat, don't preach, but still sneak in real emotion when you least expect it. In a streaming era dominated by prestige drama and bingeable docuseries, the sitcom is undergoing a quiet revolution. People are rewatching The Office, Parks and Rec, and yes, Malcolm in the Middle, not because they're perfect, but because they feel honest. Because they reflect the chaos and laughter of real life better than the glossy, calculated comedies we're sometimes fed today. And the timing couldn't be more perfect. The original cast is game. Bryan Cranston has openly discussed a potential reboot or continuation, even hinting at a feature-length format. The world is more ready than ever for a middle-aged Malcolm grappling with adulthood, a now elderly Lois still terrifying local government, and a family dynamic that never really settles. What young Sheldon never understood in the end, what Malcolm in the middle did, what young Sheldon never quite figured out, is that genius is just one part of a very messy puzzle. Intelligence doesn't make life easier. If anything, it makes the chaos more interesting. Where young Sheldon leaned into idealization, Malcolm leaned into realization. It realized that no amount of IQ points can help you escape your family. That brilliance doesn't insulate you from pain, or embarrassment, or the slow, strange comedy of growing up. And most importantly, it realized that when the world feels upside down, sometimes the only thing to do is laugh, even if it's at yourself. So bring on the reunion. Let's see what Malcolm's up to now. Let's watch Lois explode at a PTA meeting. Let's see if Reese ever learned to cook without starting a fire. Let's find out if Dewey is leading a jazz orchestra in Paris or still quietly plotting revenge. Because if Malcolm in the middle taught us anything, it's that you don't outgrow chaos, you just learn to live with it. And laugh along the way. Would you like this formatted for a blog or publication? I can also add image suggestions, SEO headlines, or a social media promo caption.